Hey, hi, hope all is well. So I'm pretty excited to record today's video. So because I was, just trying to muster the courage to talk about it, and I was trying to collate a lot of thoughts, talking to a lot of professionals to make this video, which is careers after ISB. And today I'm going to talk about a very lucrative career option, which stumbles upon everybody's mind at some point or the other, whether it's before ISB, when you're writing your essays during ISB, or after ISB when you're applying off campus or changing careers, which is venture capital VC. And in today's video, I'm going to talk about what does a career in VC entail, why do so many professionals who are applying for ISB or are ISB students want to get into VC, what kind of profiles are typically shortlisted, which kind of firms typically visit ISB for a VC role, and how you can make a career in VC even after ISB through off-campus opportunities, right? So let's get started. Why am I recording this video? Because I received an on-campus shortlist from Matrix Partners, which is now called Z47. The name changed last year. And I received an on-campus shortlist and I went till the second last round, and then I did not get through. And then I applied again off campus and then I got an offer. So just to start with what a career in VC entails. So VCs, venture capitalists for the lack of a better word, they take somebody's money, which can be an institution or an endowment fund or an insurance company or a high net worth individual from India, Saudi Arabia, Russia, UAE, whenever possible, wherever possible, or USA, and they take that person's or that institution's money and they invest that money in, let's say, a startup which is just on the cusp of operationalizing itself, or a startup which has already started earning revenue and is looking for growth capital. I'll not use any jargon here. You take somebody's money, you invest it in a startup. That's principally what VCs do. Now it's very high risk because you have to evaluate a lot of variables, which is founder's pedigree, what have they done in the past, have they started another venture, where have they worked, which B school or college are they coming from, and a lot of times these variables are unknown. You don't have any revenue as a startup when you're seeking, if you're seeking venture capital in most of the cases. And there are no financials, no cash flow statements, no P&Ls, no balance sheets. So you are essentially, as a VC, betting someone's money on the founder and their executional prowess, right? Some VCs also invest money and they continue investing in the same company. When the company expands, it hires more people, it builds a leadership team across its life cycle, right? So if you're taking someone's money and investing it in a startup, and you don't have a lot of data points, you need to have a very holistic approach / thesis on that sector. That is why whenever you're hired by a venture capital firm, you are not essentially allowed to invest across fintech, agri-tech, edtech simultaneously. आप जैसी एक VC firm में जाते हो, आपको एक sector deploy कर दिया जाता है. It can be gaming also. It might not be related to your background. Let's say if Sarthak comes from an investment banking background, it's not necessary कि उसको fintech ही मिलेगा. He might be allotted gaming as a sector where he'll invest in, and he will have to build his thesis, talk to a lot of subject matter experts, interview a lot of founders, arrange coffee chats, network a lot within the ecosystem, whether it's with other VCs, his senior colleagues, other founders, and build a perspective on gaming and view gaming as a sector not from a 2025 lens but also from a lens of 2035. Which all trends will emerge in gaming as a sector in 2035. He'll envision that, and he'll invest in a company which might disrupt gaming in the coming 10 years, right? Basis his envisaged trends. And that's a very difficult job to do, right? Because you can gain a lot of knowledge, you can do a lot of digging, talk to a lot of people, read as much collateral as possible on the internet, on gaming, read all consulting reports. But at some point of time, you have to take a bet. You have to take a punt, right? Beyond secondary research, kahin na kahin to you're investing and talking to so many founders from the gaming ecosystem on a daily basis, that when you finalize between those 2-3 companies which are working on very exciting gaming models, whether it's mixed reality, augmented reality, whatever it is, आपको कहीं ना कहीं तो अपनी instinctively bet लेना पड़ेगा, right? Which is difficult, and it's a double-edged sword. The good thing and the bad thing about a VC bet is कि you are not instantaneously told कि आपका ये bet सही था या खराब था. It's not the stock market कि मैंने एक दिन इन्वेस्ट करा, फिर मैंने एक साल बाद अपना ग्रो का पोर्टफोलियो रिफ्रेश करके देख लिया whether it was a good or a bad bet. Most companies are just starting up when you invest capital in them, venture capital. So they take at least 5, 6, 7 years to tell you whether that investment was good, bad, ugly, or you hit it out of the park. So VC is a long-term game. That's why careers in VC are also long-term. You hardly see people who are really interested in the domain leaving a firm in 2, 3, 4, 5 years. With time, as you spend more time in the firm, you get so much knowledge, you talk to so many founders in your domain that you become an expert. In fact, a lot of people who are in VC, whether it's health tech or whether it's quick commerce, for example, after they spend so much time in VC, they build so much connects, they know who to raise capital from, they have a buffet, and they know which models are working, where there is a white space, that they end up starting up on their own, right? So that is there, but enough gyan on VC. I hope this gives you a good picture. I intend to record a video very soon on venture capital versus management consulting as a career path, very similar to what I did for management consulting versus general management. So I'll do that soon and I'll let you know. Now coming to what kind of ISB students or profiles at ISB are shortlisted by VC firms on campus. So when I was in ISB, I saw two kinds of profiles getting shortlisted by venture capitalist recruiters. One was people who had a pre-MBA consulting background, somebody who has worked in a McKinsey Knowledge Center or a Bain Capability Network, or someone who was coming from a startup background. Third bhi bol sakte ho, but not as much. Third kind of profile or cadre was somebody who was a CA plus a CFA and somebody who had worked in, let's say, a JP Morgan or a Blackstone private equity profile. So these three kinds of profiles were picked: pre-MBA consulting background, pre-MBA private equity experience alongside a CA and a CFA charter, or the third kind of profile was somebody who has worked with a startup in its earliest phases. So I was coming from the third kind of profile, and I got a shortlist. Not a lot of people apply because only one firm comes to visit on campus and hire for a VC role, which is Matrix Partners, like I was discussing. So a lot of people know that they only hire 1 to 2 people every year, so chances come hai. And there is a very, very huge deterrent. For every firm which comes to ISB, you firstly submit a CV and then you're interviewed. For Matrix, in my year, you had to submit a CV and you had to submit a video on, if let's say you had $100K, where would you invest this money if you were to invest in an Indian startup which is not generating any revenue right now? This kind of a problem statement. So it required a lot of research and recording yourself alongside a very rigorous academic curriculum that ISB has. So not a lot of people applied. I think there were 100 applications. 20 got shortlisted from these three kinds of profiles which we discussed. And then there were interviews with partners on your profile, why VC, sectoral outlook. If let's say I was coming from an automotive background, I was asked questions on which company will you invest in, Car Dekho, Cast24, Droom, why, if I give you X amount of money, which sector will you pick, why, all of those questions, right? So it's a function of your sectoral knowledge and outlook plus your technical chops, including finance to an extent. And so the interviews were very different from your typical consulting interview. And then they shortlisted, eliminated a lot of people. And I got till the last 8, if I remember correctly. And then I did not get an offer. And then I applied off campus. I was given an offer. So I had 2 years of experience. So I was not hired as an associate. I was given an off-campus offer as a senior analyst, which is one level lower. And now the question, which is why do so many people want to get into VC? First, most apparent reason is कि बहुत पैसा मिलता है, right? So in our time when Matrix came to recruit at ISB, even though the hit rate was very low, 1 out of 100 people, वो 100 भी वही हैं जिनको पता है उनको shortlist आ सकता है, all of that. But the package that they gave for the associate role was I think 36 lakhs fixed, and for me senior analyst role it was 25 lakhs fixed plus bonus, which amounts to, let's say, 40-50% of your yearly fixed if you have had a good year. And that is there. And one very good advantage of coming from ISB is, which is what I wanted to cover as the last part of the video, is that you will say yaar ki sarthak ek hi firm aa rahi hai VC ki ISB, so essentially you can't get into VC after ISB. Not true. A lot of my batchmates, because of the ISB brand, they networked and they landed a job in VC, whether it's Bloom or Aureus or Stellaris, through off-campus opportunities, right? Because you're from ISB, you will get shortlisted. They know you have that pedigree. तो वो LinkedIn connects और वो LinkedIn reverts आपको तभी आना शुरू होते हैं from people when you have that tag on your CV, whether it's ISB, IMA, whatever it is. So that's the advantage that the B school provides you. And I've seen that happening firsthand for me also. And just one thing before I conclude, a lot of people mention that मेरे को straight away VC में जाना है after ISB. Please सोच समझ के लिखना इस चीज का आंसर in your goals essay, because a lot of people write कि मेरे को venture capital में जाना है after ISB. But आपका इंटरव्यू जो लेंगे ISB applications वाला इंटरव्यू जो होता है before you go to B school is taken by alums. Now alums know what I know, which is only one recruiter on campus. Typically profiles like pre-MBA consulting, pre-MBA private equity or IB, plus CA plus CFA और pre-MBA startup background. अब आपका ऐसा कोई बैकग्राउंड है तभी आपका सेंस बनाता है VC लिखना एज योर पोस्ट ISB इमीडिएट गोल. अगर आपका वैसा बैकग्राउंड नहीं है तो प्लीज VC मत लिखना. यू कैन से आई वांट टू, लेट्स से, गेट इनटू कंसल्टिंग फर्स्ट, or I want to get into a founder's office role in a startup, and eventually I want to get into VC. That makes more sense logically speaking, right? So that is what I wanted to cover in this video, and I'll see you very soon.